In the name of God, greetings to our dear audience. I am Sayyid Imam Musavi, and it is my great pleasure to be with you at this moment as we present the 235 episode of Radio Mofasser, a watchtower on international relations and Iranian political studies. I hope you will stay with us until the very end of this episode. Radio Mofasser is a YouTube podcast that has been running since 2021. So far, we have published 234 episodes, and in our most recent programs, we have begun producing content in English as well. For this reason, we would greatly appreciate it if you could subscribe to our YouTube channel by clicking the subscribe button below this video. By subscribing, you'll be notified whenever we release new episodes and stay up to date with all of our latest content. Now, let's turn to episode 235 of Radio Mofasser. The episode focuses on a topic that is closely connected to the 2026 war between Iran and United States and examines one of its important dimensions. One of the most significant events of the 2026 war between Iran and the United States was the Dasht-e Mahyar incident near Isfahan. There are two competing accounts of what happened, an Iranian account and an American one. Moreover, a number of different narratives have emerged over time. In this episode, we intend to examine both the Iranian and the American versions of the story. In April 2026, Farvardin 1405 in the Iranian calendar, an American F-15 craft crashed inside Iranian territory, reportedly after being struck by a man-portable air defense system, MANPADS. Both crew members survived the crash. According to the prevailing account, one of them was the pilot, while the other was a weapons systems officer. It is said that both eventually managed to leave Iran safely. The pilot was reportedly rescued relatively quickly. The second crew member, the weapons systems officer, was recovered only after several days. According to reports, he had taken refuge in the mountains region of Kohgiluye and Boye Rahmat province near Dasht, where he hid inside a crevice in a valley. It has also been claimed that the United States launched a fake news campaign announcing that the second crew member had already been rescued. According to this account, the disinformation caused Iranian forces to abandon their search, enabling American forces to extract the second survivor safely from Iran. The central question, however, is this: would a military operation of such extraordinary scale really be carried out simply to rescue a single aircraft member? According to available accounts, approximately 155 aircraft, including bombers, fighter jets, and the transport aircraft, along with numerous drones used to create a protective wall of fire, participated in the operation. Is it reasonable to assume that between 150 and 200 personnel would undertake such an extremely risky mission deep inside Iranian territory solely to rescue one pilot. Conducting an operation of this magnitude inside Iran would undoubtedly have exposed American forces to enormous risks and could easily have resulted in even greater casualties. It was by any measure an exceptionally high-risk operation. For that reason, I believe the timing of the operation deserves particular attention. It took place during the final days of the war, and only 3 or 4 days later, a ceasefire between Iran and the United States came into effect. This raises an important question. What was the true objective of the mission? What strategic goal justified such a large-scale operation just day before the war came to an end? In my view, just as Operation Midnight Hammer during the 12-day war in 2025 was intended to strike Iran's nuclear facilities and bring the conflict closer to its conclusion. This operation in the southern Dasht-e Mahyar area may have served a similar strategic purpose. From this perspective, I believe the mission was aimed at delivering a decisive blow to Iran's nuclear infrastructure and possibly at seizing a shipment of enriched uranium. According to this interpretation, the objective may have been to remove that uranium from Iran in a manner reminiscent of the plot of Christopher Nolan's film Tenet. Therefore, I find the Iranian interpretation of the operation to be the more plausible explanation. Would the United States really accept the risk of inserting nearly 200 personnel, supported by a large number of fighter jets and bombers simply to rescue a single serviceman, knowing that many of those involved could themselves be killed in the process? For that reason, I believe the timing of the operation is particularly significant. Only a few days after it took place, the war came to an end. My central argument is that this mission was intended to complete what Operation Midnight Hammer had failed to accomplish. Since that operation ultimately fell short of its objective, the United States returned to the negotiating table, reactivating the Islamabad channel and other mediation channels between Iran and the United States in an effort to determine the fate of Iran's enriched uranium stockpile. Not long afterward, Rafael Grossi announced that Iran's approximately 400 kilograms of enriched uranium were still located in Isfahan and Natanz. It is also worth noting that this incident occurred only about 14 kilometers from the Isfahan nuclear facilities. In other words, separate from the operation involving the downed aircrew member in the mountains region near Dasht in Kohkiluye and Boyer Ahmad province, what took place at Dasht-e Mahyar, also known as Dasht-e Parzan, appears to have been part of a much larger military operation that, in my view, was intended to target Iran's nuclear facilities. Now, Let's take a closer look at the area itself. Dasht-e Parzan or Dasht-e Mahyar lies near the town of Shahreza, with Mahyar being an important nearby village. The region is known for both its agricultural productivity and its industrial activity. The Razi industrial town is located close to Dasht-e Parzan, while the surrounding farmland produces crops such as wheat, pomegranates, melons, and a variety of vegetables. Geographically, Dasht-e Parzan is situated to the north of Shahreza in Isfahan province. According to the American account, the operation's primary objective was the rescue of the crew of the downed American aircraft. This version maintains that both crew members were successfully recovered and evacuated from Iran using an abandoned runway at a disused airfield located near Shahreza, specifically in the Dasht-e Mahyar area. The American narrative further claims that after completing the extraction, US forces deliberately destroyed the equipment they had left behind to prevent it from falling into Iranian hands. That is the American version of events. Now, according to the Iranian account, the operation unfolded quite differently. It is claimed that at approximately 12 a.m. on April 5, 2026, American forces landed at the abandoned airfield. Around 2:30 a.m., units of the Iranian army began moving toward the area, followed at approximately 4:30 a.m. by police forces and members of the tribal passage from the village of Nasrabad, all heading toward the site to confront the invading forces. The Iranian commander who reportedly led the engagement against the American forces was Brigadier General Masoud Zarei, who, according to this account, was killed during the operation. The Iranian narrative further states that as army forces fired a man-portable air defense missile at a Hercules transport aircraft. One Hercules had already landed and unloaded its cargo, including lighter aircraft, helicopters, and military vehicles. When a second Hercules arrived, Iranian forces successfully struck it with a shoulder-fired missile. According to this version of events, the damaged aircraft was unable to complete a safe landing. Instead, it skidded across the runway and collided with the first Hercules that was already on the ground. The resulting explosion reportedly destroyed a large quantity of military equipment that had been deployed around the abandoned airfield. The Iranian account goes on to say that just as Iranian forces were preparing to launch a second missile, one of the American drones allegedly being used to create a protective wall of fire between US and Iranian positions targeted Colonel Moin Haydari, an Iranian air defense officer who was preparing to fire another missile. He was reportedly killed in the strike. It is also claimed that the members of the tribal Basij from the Nasrabad area lost their lives during the fighting. Meanwhile, Iranian police units also entered the Dasht-e area from three different directions. The Salman Commando Battalion, a special police unit based in Isfahan province, took up positions behind the army forces and was tasked with securing the main road. According to Iranian account, had American forces attempt to advance toward Isfahan. Responsibility for controlling that road during those hours would have rested with the police security battalion. Nevertheless, both the Iranian and the American accounts contain important gaps. The Iranian narrative says relatively little about the events in Dasht in Kohkiluye and Boye Rahmat province, and doesn't clearly explain the connection between the Battle of Dasht-e and the operation involving the downed aircrew in the mountains near Dasht. This omission suggests that the airman who had taken refuge in those mountains ultimately managed to escape. The weakness of the American account, on the other hand, is that it largely glosses over what is alleged to have happened at Dasht-e rather than addressing the reported battle in detail. It focuses almost exclusively on the successful rescue of the F-15 crew. In other words, both sides appear to emphasize the aspects of the story that support their own narrative while giving considerably less attention to events that might complicate their respective accounts. The American narrative emphasizes the events in Dasht, while the Iranian narrative focuses on Dasht-e near Shahreza. According to the American version of events, the mission was successful. US officials maintain that they destroyed their own equipment from the air solely to prevent it from falling into Iranian hands. There is, however, another aspect that deserves attention. The burn pattern and the apparent trajectory of the Hercules along the runway suggest that its movement was anything but a routine. Instead, the aircraft appears to have made what looks like an emergency landing under unstable conditions, with those circumstances ultimately leading to the explosion. Another point concerns the numerous impact craters reportedly found around the runway area. According to available accounts, American forces sought to establish a security perimeter extending roughly 15 kilometers around their operation in the Dasht-e Mahyar area of Isfahan province. Take together, these indications suggest that a military engagement did in fact occur, an element that is largely absent from the American narrative. Instead, the US account portrays the operation as entirely successful while giving little attention to the possibility of combat during the mission. Perhaps more importantly, a number of Western analysts have argued that an operation of this scale would have been unlikely to take place without casualties. Among those expressing this view is Larry Johnson, who has suggested that such a mission almost certainly involved losses. By comparing the official Iranian and American narratives, I believe one possible conclusion is that the United States did succeed in extracting the crew of the downed aircraft. At the same time, there appears to have been a second operation that better explains why American forces deployed such a substantial amount of military hardware to the area. In my assessment, that second operation may have served a strategic function similar to Operation Midnight Hammer in July 2025. Just as Operation Midnight Hammer was intended to help bring the war to its conclusion. This mission appears to have been designed to accomplish what that earlier operation and left unfinished. According to this interpretation, however, it ultimately failed to achieve its broader objective. For that reason, I believe there is a significant possibility that the United States may attempt a similar operation in the future, potentially targeting the Caucasus Mountains or other locations where Iran's reported 400 kilogram stockpile of enriched uranium might be stored. Based on what I have been reading in American publications, my impression is that Benjamin Netanyahu's current visit to the United States is above all related to the discussions about future policy toward Iran. In my view, one possibility is that policymakers are considering an operation similar in concept to the one that allegedly failed at Dasht-e Mahyar, but with more extensive planning and preparation in the days ahead. These conclusions represent my personal analysis and interpretation of the available information rather than independently verified facts. Such an operation may, in fact, offer greater confidence from the American perspective than attempting to neutralize targets simply by bombing Mount Kolang near Isfahan. Previously, Israeli forces reportedly carried out a similar type of raid against a Syrian missile facility during the presidency of Bashar al-Assad. According to those reports, Delta Force operations were inserted on the ground, engaged in combat at the site, secured the materials or equipment they were seeking, and then withdraw. In my view, US planners may be pursuing a similar concept on a much larger scale and in coordination with Israel, rather than relying exclusively on airstrikes. Such a scenario would involve inserting special operations forces to seize specific objectives on the ground before extracting them from the area. Therefore, I see this as a possible scenario that will happen in the coming weeks, so that America can at least bring the Iran case to a conclusion. Well, friends and companions, here we have reached the end of the 235 episode of the Radio Mofasser. I hope that you were satisfied with watching and listening to this program. I entrust all of you dear ones to God Almighty until we meet again. Goodbye.